what is it saying is laid up for them, right? That they have to go into captivity, right? Why is that? You know, in the church, right? We always say what goes around comes around. Whatever a man reaps, he's gonna sow, right? Now watch this. Bring us out number 35, because I brought that phrase out for a reason, right? About reaping and sowing. Watch this.
Numbers 35 and 33. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land.
It says you should not pollute the land wherein ye are, right? And it says that blood defiles the land. Not just any blood, right? Innocent blood, right? Keep reading.
And the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein.
And it's saying the only way you can cleanse innocent blood that was shed in the land, right? Let's talk about here in America, right? Let's talk about America really quick. This land was built off of the rape, rob, and murder, right, of our ancestors, right? Our innocent blood. It says the only way this land can be cleansed is what? It's like it.
But by the blood of him that shed it.
But by the blood of him that shed it. This is principles written in the Bible that still stand today, right? Because this is in the Old Testament, Deuteronomy, and we just read first in Revelation, which is the New Testament, right? Now watch this. Keep reading what you have.
Verse number 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Right.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
Killed with the sword, right? It says they must be killed with the sword. And a lot of people might say, hey man, that's kind of harsh. It's kind of rough, right? Right? But check this out. Check this. This is my favorite. This is one of my favorite verses. This next verse, right? To show you how the Bible's thoughts are not our thoughts, right? Watch this. Keep reading.
Verse 10 again. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
It says that the saints, right? The saints are patiently and faithfully waiting for this to happen, right? Why is that? Give me Matthew 1 where it says his name shall be Jesus. And then I want you to give me Deuteronomy 7 and 6 real quick, right? Yes. Right? What? You got it? Bring it out.
This is the book of Matthew chapter 1 and verse 25. And knew her not till she had brought forth her firstborn son, and he called his name Jesus.
Right? What's after that?
That's it. That's the end of the chapter.
Am I looking for Luke 1? Where it says, for he shall save?
For he shall save his people.
Right.
Oh, that's Matthew 1 and 21.
Right.
This is the book of Matthew chapter 1 and verse 21. And he shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from...
No, everyone.
For he shall save his people.
It says he shall save his people, right? So when you read Revelation, when it's talking about this salvation, that he that leadeth into captivity shall be taken into captivity, right? It's talking about his people. His people, his saints are patiently waiting for this to happen, right? Now, in church, right, have you ever heard of, thank you, sister, have you ever heard of God having a chosen people? You probably heard that word before, right?
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, in the context that people talk about it, they're speaking about everybody. Everybody's chosen, right? And I'm here to let you know that from the Old Testament to the New Testament, that's just not it. Give me Deuteronomy 7 and 6 real quick.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6.
Right. You know who the book of Deuteronomy was written to? The Israelites. You ever heard of the Israelites before? It's written. The book of Deuteronomy is written to the Israelites. So in context, this is talking about the Israelites. You got verse 1. This is chapter 1, verse 1, just to give you context, right?
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
No, to everybody.
Unto all Israel.
Unto all Israel, right? Now let's see what Moses said, right? Watch this.
Deuteronomy 7 and 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
The word holy means set apart, different, separate, right? Keep reading.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people.
No, equal to.
Above all people.
No, we're all chosen.
Above all people.
Right, keep reading.
That are upon the face of the earth.
Does that sound like equality to you? If a chosen people is above all people that are upon the face of the earth, right? And this is called the Israelites, right? The children of Israel, right? And a lot of people say, we went to where it says his name shall be Jesus, for he shall save his people. Out of Christ's mouth, let's see his people, right? Give me Matthew 15:24 real quick. You give me Deuteronomy 28 and 15.
This is the book of St. Matthew, chapter 20, chapter 15, starting at verse number 24.
Right.
And it reads, "But he answered and said,
This is Christ speaking, right?
I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of
No,
Israel."
I'm sent to everyone.
Of the house of
It
Israel.
says, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So who was Christ sent to? The lost sheep of the house of Israel. It's plain upon tables, right? But the thing that what happens is people take this book and they make it all inclusive, not knowing that this book was a heritage of a certain group of people throughout the whole entire book, right? Give me Jeremiah 17 and 4. I'm not gonna have you too much longer, all right? But I just I like to talk to my fellow Bible believers, and especially the people of Black, Hispanic, and Native American descent, right?
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, and verse number 4.
Because this is what happened to us, right?
And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee.
He says that he was going to discontinue us from the heritage that he gave us. This is the Most High God talking to the children of Israel, right? And so what had happened was, us, now we don't know. We're the only group of people that don't know where we come from, don't know our culture, right? We had to make up our culture on the fly after slavery, right? Keep reading real quick.
And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in a land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever.
Right, we kindle a fire in his anger, which shall burn forever. If I had to ask you a question, what do you think made him so mad that we did? That's a good guess. Give me cease to be remembered. Cease to be remembered. Deuteronomy 32:26. Watch this.
Look at Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 26.
Right.
I said I would scatter them into corners.
Now, because he was so mad at us, he said he was going to scatter us into corners, meaning all throughout the earth, right? Keep reading.
I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men.
Now, no one knows us as the Israelites anymore, right? They know us as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? They know us as Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, Negroes, right? African Americans. He said he was going to make our remembrance to cease from among men. Why? Because he's going to take our heritage away. And I asked you why you think he was so mad, right? This is why he was mad. Give me Deuteronomy 28 and 15. Because we're supposed to be above all nations that's upon the face of the earth, right? But it doesn't seem like that. Why are we considered minorities? Why are we considered at the bottom of society, right?
He really made us remember no more, because even in any type of school you go to, public or private, here in the States or overseas, they're not talking about the Israelites.
Right. And
We talk about every other society and kingdom and empire in the world and get educated on the Ming Dynasty, the Great Wall of China, all of that, but we never hear about the Israelites, not even in church.
even when it comes to being just African American history, they're trying to take it out of schools now, right? They're trying to take away who we are so bad because they know, hey, time is almost up and we're starting to wake up to who we actually are, right? Bring us out though. Deuteronomy
The book of
28,
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15.
right?
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
The root word of hearken means to hear. If you don't hear the Most High God, to do what?
to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses,
All these blessings.
all
all
these
these
curses,
It's not a trick question. Is curses a good thing or a bad thing? It's a bad thing, right? He said all these curses are gonna what?
all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Right? Verse 46 real quick. Talking about these curses, right?
Verse 46, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
No, just for that time.
Upon
For-
thy seed
forever.
forever.
What does forever mean? Even to right now, right? So it says that he was going to put curses on his chosen people because they didn't listen to him, right? And they were going to be around forever, right? Now we're going to get into some of these curses. And you tell me what nation of people these curses fit, right? Give me Deuteronomy 28 and 15.
Deuteronomy
16,
28 and 16.
Right, next verse.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
When you look at any city, right? Who's cursed in those cities? Who's living in the projects, the PJs? Right? Is there a mass influx of white people in the projects? Is there a mass influx of Asian or Arabs in the projects?
Depending on where you're at, but generally black.
Now, typically when they're around the projects, right? And there's Asians and Arabs, right? They got corner stores, right? And they're profiting off of us, right? But as far as
Or they're the ones getting the rent.
right, they're the landlords, right? But the majority of those that are cursed in those projects, blacks and Hispanics, right? Watch this. Next one.
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
Cursed shalt thou be in the field. We don't have to go over that. Who was cursed in the field, right? Sugar cane fields, tobacco fields, cotton fields. Native Americans got their fields stolen from them, right? Yeah, give me that.
And thou shalt become an astonishment,
Right.
a proverb and a byword.
Proverb and a byword. A proverb is a wise saying. A byword is a name that was placed upon you, right? No more, it says, I'll make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. Meaning, hey, look, you're not going to be remembered as an Israelite from the tribe of Judah no more. Now you're an African American. That's that byword, right? That Puerto Rican, that's that byword, right? Mexican, that's that byword. A proverb, the word nigga is a proverb, right? Right? We have a whole bunch of wise sayings, right? We're going to get into some wise sayings. Matter of fact, give me verse 46 real quick. I mean, not 46, 54.
Verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate.
So that a man that is tender among you and very delicate, right? Now, how do you handle something that's tender and delicate? Carefully, right? Once upon a time, we used to treat each other with care, right? Nowadays, you see another black man walking down the street, you look at him too long, he's pulling up his pants, right? He want to fight now, just because you was looking at him. There was a time where that didn't used to happen, right? It says, we used to be tender and delicate, but what's the curse that's going to be put on our people now? Keep reading.
So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother.
Now his eye's going to be evil towards his brother. Now he's trying to pull up his pants, right? There's a wise saying or a proverb, and short, you might see it from time to time on the news. It's called black on black crime, right? Now that's a staple. Anywhere you go, they talk about black on black crime, right? Gang violence and things of this nature. Is black on black, is white on white crime as big as talked about as black on black crime? Is Arab on Arab crime as big as black on black crime? It's not, right? It's only on this one group of people, black on black crime, right? It's a curse on this particular group of people, right? Keep reading.
And toward his wife.
And towards his wife, right?
And toward the wife of his bosom.
And the wife of his bosom, right? His wife, his girlfriend. That's why we be stepping out on our wives, we be cheating on them, beating on them, right? All of these things, right? Keep reading.
And toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave.
Which he shall leave. What nations is known for growing up without their dad?
What?
Black people, right? And keep in mind, this is talking about God's chosen people, right? I'm gonna go over one more curse with you, right? Straight to the dagger, man. Verse 68.
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68.
Right?
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Right? How do we get over here to America? Slave ships. Now, you say you believe in the Bible, you go to church, you play instruments, right? So, this place that we're in right now is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, right? As Revelation says, right? Now, this word Egypt in the Bible is synonymous with something that's very significant, right? We're gonna get that. Bring that out.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt,
Out of the land of Egypt,
out of the house of bondage.
out of the house of bondage. This word Egypt is really, when you go back to the etymology of it, it means with the rocks, which means like within a rock and a hard place, right? Which means bondage. So a lot of times when you read this word Egypt in the Bible, it's symbolizes bondage, right? So read it from the top one more time.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Into bondage again. And how we get over here to America? Slavery by way of what? By way of ships out of your mouth, right? Watch this. Keep reading.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again
Into
with
bondage.
ships.
With what?
With ships.
With trains.
With ships.
What nation of people went into slavery on ships? Black people, right? And Hispanics too. Records show that Hispanics actually went into slavery on ships before us, right?
True.
Right? And so keep reading.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Right?
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen,
Slave man and slave woman,
and no man shall buy you.
and no man shall buy you. And people will say, hey man, that's not fitting y'all, because y'all was definitely bought on those auction blocks. This word buy, when you go back to the Hebrew, it means to redeem. meaning that no man redeemed us from our circumstance. We're living cursed till today. We have many tried, right? Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, right? Harriet Tubman, many tried. We're still in our predicament till this day, right? And so through these curses, we can identify who the Bible is speaking about. Because remember, it said forever, right? Even till today. So we can understand that, yes, we're the children of Israel. Matter of fact, this is a sign, right? And so right here, you got on the top, which would be like your so-called tribe. So with the Israelites, you got 12 tribes. Underneath you have like your byword, right? Like African American, it said Judah. And it's not a color thing, right? A lot of people get on us like we hate white people and all. It's not a color. Look at all these faces, right? A lot of people on here look white. It's not a color thing. It's all about being a descendant of the man named Israel, right? And that's how you qualify if you're an Israelite, right? And also through these scriptures, not only through the man, right, and these prophecies, but we got geography too. Let me show you something really quick, right? How we can make certain conclusions.
While you getting that, I'm gonna read another curse real quick.
Come on.
Deuteronomy 28:64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people. So
Right.
that's why you can go to different places of the earth. They know what a nigga is. You go to China, they know what a nigga is. Africans, they know what a nigga is. Right? You go to the Indians, they all know who we are. We've been scattered everywhere, and we in poverty everywhere we go.
Right.
From one end of the earth even unto the other, and there you shall serve other gods. Right? That's why we see people worshiping their ancestors, stones on their neck. They're into Islam and all different stuff. Right? They gave us a white Christ, painted the likeness of their image, and now we worship a white Christ and do mission trips for him. Right? Worshiping wood and stone, as the Bible says. We worshiping all these other gods because we didn't want to worship our God of the actual Bible, right? And how he's depicted in this actual Bible, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So when it goes into wood and stone, we see a lot of people, they'll preach whole sermons on the cross, come back to the cross, bow before the cross. That's idolatry, right? A lot of people there into Islam, they go and touch that Kabbalah stone, right? They go to Mecca and stuff like that. All that's idolatry, but our people, our God has allowed us to do that because we didn't want to serve him. We didn't want to keep his commandments, right? You ask the modern day Israelites, so-called black men or so-called Hispanic and Native American that reap these curses, you ask them what are God's commandments, the average person don't know. They'll say, you mean you talking about the 10?
Right.
And you'll be like, yeah, name one of them.
We'll get there.
And they don't know. That's because God said, and guess what? You don't want to learn my stuff? I'm going to give you up to learn all this other stuff.
Come on, man. Right? Watch this. You come in real quick. I'll show you real quick. This is geography, right? Not only do we know through prophecy, right? We also know through geography as well. This is a map from Stanford University, right? So-called Ivy League school, right? It's the slave map. Right here it says Negro land. I don't know if you can see that, right? Negro land. This is the western coast of Africa. If I zoom in, right? It says slave coast, right? Right above slave coast, what it says? It says kingdom of what? Kingdom of Judah, right? So even our oppressors know who we are, right? And I tell people all the time, people like to call us African. Just because we were living in Africa doesn't make us African, right? And everybody that's kin to you ain't kin to you. That's why a lot of Africans will come over here and they'll make the separation quick. We're not the same, right? And so with that being said, man, we understand that we're Israelites, but now we're seeing ourselves at the bottom of society. We're supposed to be at the top. What do we got to do to get back there? Right? That's the question. What do we got to do to get back to Revelation chapter 13, where it says that we're patiently waiting for those that took us into slavery, right, to go into captivity, right? How do we get back? Check this out, Deuteronomy 10 and 12. You good in there?
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 12.
Con.
And now Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee?
We found out that we're Israel, and now something is already required of us, right? Watch this,
But to fear the Lord thy God.
right?
To my bad. Dang, that's my page, man.
I'm missing it. Paragraph in my book.
But to fear the Lord thy God,
Right?
to walk in all his ways,
Right?
and to love him,
Right?
and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul, to keep the commandments of the Lord.
To do what?
To keep the commandments of the Lord.
Right?
And his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good.
For thy bad.
For thy good.
Because his commandments in here is meant for us, man. You know, sometimes in church they'll say, hey, man, the Bible is what? Basic instructions before leaving earth, right? It's the blueprint, but a lot of people don't follow it, right? We got to do these commandments not only because he said so, because they were actually made for our benefit, right? I'm going to show you some real quick, right? And how they're made for our benefit, right? Give me Leviticus chapter 11 really fast.
Con, and if I could say something too, it says to walk in all his ways, right? Earlier you said, you know, the brother asked if you believe in the Bible. You said I play instruments, right? But the Most High God, he's not going to evaluate whether you believe in the Bible on if you play instruments or if you sing in the choir. He's going to evaluate if you walk in his ways, right? So then we go on further, and I'm only pinpointing this out because we used to be in the same predicament, right? You said, you know, I really don't read the Bible, right? How are you going to know to walk in his ways if you don't know his ways, right?
Same thing with me. I used to play set at church.
Right. Brother right here, he's in the band at Fort Valley State University, right? And so a lot of these things, a lot of these gifts that we have, we think that God is dealing with us, and he is dealing with us. He made us the salt of the earth. We give the earth its flavor, but he still wants us to walk in his ways. And if we don't know his ways, we can't walk in them, and we keep reaping these generational curses that we see. No father in the household, eyes evil towards your brother, at the bottom of society, because we don't pick up the book and read. Everybody's like, why is God not talking to me? Right. He written his word for us.
Right. Matter of
Right?
fact,
He's talking to us every day.
Go ahead and get Romans chapter 10 and verse 1. Bring this out there real quick.
It's the book of Leviticus chapter 11, starting at verse number 1.
Right.
And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, speak unto the children of Israel.
To who?
Speak unto the children of Israel.
To us. To everybody on this sign, right? What is it about to say? Keep reading.
Saying, these are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth.
Right, man. So we have a dietary law, right? Things that we're supposed to eat and things that we're not supposed to eat, right? Now it's a given we're not supposed to be eating rats and all that stuff, but there's certain things that people don't really understand that we should not be eating. Give me verse number 7.
Verse number 7. And the swine.
And the what?
And the swine.
And you know what swine is? Right, it's that pork, right? Keep reading.
Though he divided the hoof and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you.
He is unclean to you, right? The Most High said, hey, look, all the animals that's going to be clean to you, they're going to have a thing called chewing the cud, right? And that's when you have multiple stomachs to digest food properly, right? For you to eat them and you to be nourished, right? So they can get around. But you know, like the pig doesn't have no sweat glands, right? It has no way to release those toxins, right? He says don't eat them, right? They're not meant for food. They're meant to clean up the earth, right? They're living, walking, and talking, not talking, but walking trash cans, right? Can't eat that. And you think about it, right? Our people are leading these diseases and high blood pressure, gout, what else? Heart disease,
cancer,
random cancer,
depression.
That was one I was thinking of: high blood pressure, gout,
Diabetes.
diabetes, right? All these things, a lot of these things are linked back to that swine, right? Now, give me the waters real quick, verse number 9.
Verse number 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters.
Right.
Whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat.
So they have to have fins and scales, right? Talking about really just fish. Anything else, man, we're not supposed to, because just like the pig, them bottom feeders, right, are meant to clean up the ocean. That's why when you look at the ocean now, it's not clear, right? It's all foggy, it's all nasty, because we keep taking that stuff out and devouring it, right? What are some of the things that our people are just accustomed to eating that we're not supposed to be eating, right? Shrimp, crab, catfish, lobster.
A
Right?
lot of brothers don't know that catfish don't got scales,
Right. You know what I'm saying? And these things are bottom feeders. And not only that, again, a lot of these diseases are linked back to these animals, right? That we're eating, right? Give me Amos 3 and 2 real quick. Spirit, I got it.
Look at Amos chapter 3 and verse 2. You only have I
The
known
Most High God said to the Israelites, you only have I known, keep reading,
of all the families of the earth.
of all the families of the earth, right? Keep reading,
Therefore I will punish you
right?
for all your
For
iniquities.
all of your iniquities, right? You have any kids or anything? You got kids, right? You tell them not to do something, and they do it anyway, and you ask them why, they say, well, Well, Johnny did it, so I want to do it. What you gonna tell him? You ain't Johnny, and I ain't worried about Johnny. I'm worried about you, right? Most High God said the same thing. He said, "You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, when you do wrong, I'm gonna punish you." That's why you see us at the leading causes of all these diseases, because we keep breaking this law, right? Other nations, they can do what they want. They can eat this swine, this crab, pork, lobster, all this stuff, and be perfectly fine. The moment we do it, hey, look, grandma got to get her foot chopped off now, right?
Sure.
Right? Bring it up.
Deuteronomy 28:58. If thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law
Another curse, right?
that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear the glorious and fearful name, the Lord thy God, moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, and which thou wast afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also, every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed.
Diabetes wasn't written in here, right?
Cancer wasn't written.
Cancer wasn't written in here.
COVID-19 wasn't written
But
in here.
he said, hey, look, if you're disobeying me, I'm gonna send diseases on you that's not even written in this law, right? And so
You can see a
What you
so-called
better get?
white man eat all this stuff. They fine, they healthy, right? Asians, they can eat bats and all of that. Somehow they're healthy. You go to Africa, they eating all different type of bugs and rodents.
Right.
They still healthy. But our people, we mess up and we disobey God. He doing just like you said. You're not Johnny. You are not Johnny. You are not them.
Right.
You are my chosen people. And you
dropping
gotta
like
live to a
flies.
standard.
Right.
That goes with being strippers and thugs and gangsters. They pushing that in the media for us to do that, right? Instead of telling us who we are, because if we don't know who we are, we don't know how to act holy and separate. We don't know how to act like we are the ones that have, like he told Adam, you have dominion over everything on the earth. We're those people. But if we don't know who we are, we're not gonna act like it.
God, man, there's a wise saying that said, hey, look, they don't want us to know who we are, because once we know who we are and where we come from, now we know where we're going, right? And that's what we're doing right now, man. We're waking our people up and trying to show them in the direction that we need to be going. Instead of at the red lights, twerking on them headlights, we need to be in these books.
Now
right?
we at the red light, reading the scriptures.
Right, we at this red light and we bringing out the word, right? Watch this though, Romans chapter 10 verse 1.
This is the book of Romans chapter 10 and verse number 1. Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to God for Israel is that they might be saved.
This is why we out here, right? For our nation, the Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we want y'all to be saved, right? And we coming out here giving you the things that are required of you to be saved, right? Keep reading.
For I bear them record that they have a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge.
Our people have a zeal for God, man. We have a passion for God. That's why we pack out all the churches, right? That's why, hey, anything go bad, and we the first ones on our knees, right? We have a zeal for God, but it's not according to knowledge, like the brother was bringing out earlier, right? We in the church and we doing things like pantomime dancing and playing instruments, right? Running around and all that. And all that's fine and dandy, right? But that stuff is not gonna save you, right? Keep reading. Watch this.
Verse 3, for they being ignorant of God's righteousness,
They're ignorant of God's righteousness. What's God's righteousness, right? These laws, statutes, and commandments. That's his righteousness. That's what he wants us to do, right? Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Keep reading.
and going about to establish their own righteousness,
And they go back and establish their own righteousness, right? Now they're saying, I know I do this, that, and third, but hey, I'm a good dancer for the Lord. That's good enough. I should be able to I should make it in because I'm a good person, right? Hey, you're the only way you're gonna make it in, bro, is not just by being a good person, but what? Keep reading.
have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of God.
You have to submit yourselves to the righteousness of God, which is His book, His law, statutes, and commandments, right? Watch this. This is the conclusion of it all, right? We're gonna wrap up everything we just said in this one scripture. Keep reading,
Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13.
right?
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments.
At the end, the conclusion of the matter is fear God and what?
And keep his
And
commandments.
keep His commandments. Keep reading.
For this is the whole duty of man.
That's the whole reason why we was created, to be obedient to our daddy. That's it, right? And as Blacks, Hispanics, and the Native Americans, it's so important to know that because He created us to do this. He created us to be that standard, right? To be that standard to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. Then everybody else should be following up after us. We're the salt of the earth, right? You know, we add flavor to the earth. And whatever we do, people want to do what we do, right? You know what I'm saying? Imagine if we came out here and we started living righteous, right? Then the whole rest of the world would follow suit, right? And that's the point we're trying to get out to our people is that, hey, look, we got to remember who we were, and so we can see where we need to go, and we got to get on that train fast and pick up these scriptures and start doing these laws, statutes, and commandments so we can get from the bottom of society, right?
We that light on the hilltop, but we not at the hilltop because we're not being a light. But I got these for you right here, right? This is a flyer. It's got our information at the top: YouTube, Instagram, email, and I'm gonna give you this too, right? We got our feast days and holy days coming up. That's in the Bible, right? So in the world, you have pagan holy days like Christmas and Halloween and things like that. That's not in the Bible, but here we're gonna have all the stuff that's contained in the Bible, right? So like the New Year, we have it right here. It's in March. Now they say the New Year here is in January, but that's the winter time. That's when everything's dead. There's nothing on the trees. Look, how's it the New Year? God said when things spring forth, when life springs forth. Guess what? That's the New Year, right? So we got the New Year on there. We got Passover, unleavened bread, right? And then also it has the Bible scripture to go with each of them, so you can study about them. Right. So here go a calendar for the 2023 year too.
Brother. You know, that's our information, man. If you ever wanted some more information on this, man, our contact information is on there. And we also come out here every Saturday, right? Because the Saturday is what?
Sabbath.
It's the Sabbath, man. Not from us. You know, they tell us the Sabbath is on Sunday a lot, right? And you know, that's one pill that we had to swallow too, is finding out through these scriptures, right, that the Sabbath is what? On Saturday, right? I want to show you that one quick thing real quick. Just to show you why we come out here every Saturday, right?
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20, and verse number 8.
Right.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Right.
6 days shalt thou labor.
She goes 6 days of laboring, right? Keep reading.
And do all thy work.
Right.
But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
Right.
In it thou shalt not do any work.
Right.
Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
Right.
For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day.
That's good, right? And so the 7th day is the Sabbath, right? Now a lot of people think Sunday is the 7th day. If you open up a calendar, right, a regular calendar anywhere, the first day of the week is what? It's Sunday.
Right. When it gets to Saturday, it's the what? The weekend.
It's the 7th day on Saturday, right? And so that's even in Spanish, right? Our Spanish brothers and sisters, they call Saturday El Sábado, which means the Sabbath, right? And so the Saturday is our Sabbath, and that's another law that our people break, because you're not supposed to be doing any work. You're technically not supposed to be buying and selling, right? You're not supposed to, but that's the day that everybody goes into the mall. That's the day everybody wants to cut their grass.
Go buy the bottles.
Right. They want to party and turn up, right? On Saturday, right?
The one night stands happen on that night.
Right. And that's why our people, because our people have a lack of knowledge, right?
Because the world wants us to do evil, man. So everything that's in this Bible, they're going to have us do the opposite. They're going to put bacon in everything because they know we're not supposed to eat it.
And if you take these people that's supposed to be upholding these scriptures, right? You take these people and you keep them docile to the point of what they're supposed to be doing, it's just going to perpetuate how worse of conditions that we're going to be in, right? Instead of going forward, it's step back. Every Saturday is a step back because our people don't know.
Put the concerts on Saturday so all the Israelites can go to the concerts.
And you know, and once you start getting into it, man, it's almost like it's a plot on these so-called people to get them to go against their God, right?
That's all it is.
And
that's all
why
life is about.
And that's why God is so mad with us, right? But what's your name, brother? Q. Nice meeting you, Q.
I feel like I met you before somewhere.
Right.